All right. Well, I was gonna do part four, I think, or no, part five of my fighting for my First Amendment rights of freedom of speech. But I seen something today uh, on one of the videos I was finishing up on, and it was Lisa had talked in her vid from last night on her channel about having been on Guapo's live yesterday morning. So I thought, whoa, I didn't know anything about it till I heard that. This morning I went and looked the video up, and here's the name of the video. You go over to Storage Legends, and they did this on Thursday morning, and it's called Truth with Lisa. And this particular video is 2 hours and 9 minutes long. Very interesting. It tells about the relationship either one of them have had with Mr. Hales, Jeremy Hales. And it gives you background. Also, where there's documentation of certain things that they're going to talk about. I can tell you that both of them have showed documentations to the things they talked about in here previously on their channels. But this is kind of a collage of it put together where they both discuss it in a manner where you'll understand it a lot better than a whole bunch of people trying to break in and give their portion of it. And it is a little bit of back and forth between the two of them because both of them, their eyes are enlightened by the other. And also, myself, I found some new things on there that I didn't know about before. And it was pretty professional. Both these people are used to talking on there and are very comfortable with their subject. What I'll do is I'll put a link to it down here in my informational part of my video at the below the video itself. And all I have to do is go in there and punch on it, and it'll bring this right up. But if for some reason it doesn't want to work, and I can't imagine it not, all you have to do is go into Storage Legends, LEDGENDS, and go into the Thursday morning live video, and it's called Truth with Lisa. Okay? All right. Now we're going to get past that. It's a shout out for Guapo's channel, and it was very well produced. Also last night there was quite a little bit of ruckus going on back and forth a little bit with the chat, and it can get disappointing when somebody will issue something that hurts somebody else, let's put it this way, in some manner, and they can't let a sleeping dog lie, and it just keeps coming back, and that's not a good thing. People, when you're in somebody's chat, try to be professional if you can. And the pressure is put on the mods because the mods, for the most part, are trying to decide things for the creator. And they don't want to be an undue burden of trying to prove that their way is the right way. They were cautious, especially in Lisa's channel. They're very cautious. When it gets to a certain point and somebody won't behave, they go ahead and they put them in timeout for 5,000 seconds or whatever it is, but that's a long time. Most of the time it's a minute or two or whatever. It's not a big deal, and they come back and talk. And most people that are outspoken have been put into the closet for a few seconds. Don't let it hurt you. I've been told to cool it before in the chat. And I know the feeling when you think you're fully in the right and you can do what you want, and all of a sudden somebody says, oh, I don't like that. So it's not that it hasn't happened to me. I've got about as big a mouth as anybody else when it comes to expressing my ideas sometimes. The idea is don't get carried away and don't do it over and over and over. Back off, keep your mouth shut, listen a while, cool down. If you can't cool down, go to another channel for a little bit and then come back when you feel more comfortable. The other thing is it's very easy to hit the button up there that says goodbye. You just bow out and be gone. You're not going to hurt anybody if you do that. If you stay in there and stay in the fight, you stand a chance of making a lifetime enemy. And none of us needs that. And the other thing is, it makes you so mad that you can't sleep, or you have a hard time functioning the next day because it keeps getting back in your mind. It gives you give too much space to it. Don't do that. I don't know. I wish there was a better way I could explain it to you. Today's world, it seems too many people are ready to be mad at each other. And no matter what, it's not a good thing. Oh, I'm not sure what all the fight was about last night. I think it's just, I don't know if people, I think, well, what I think doesn't matter at this point. What happened, happened, and I think it's time to go on with our business and forgive and forget if we can. If you can't, I really feel sorry for you, and I'll pray for you, I promise. I know that on my channel, there's been a lot of people that expressed something I didn't like, and I removed their comment. It didn't make sense, or it wasn't worth commenting back on it. And usually it's on a pretty regular basis, somebody coming from the Minion group, from whether it's Hales or one of his followers out there, that just doesn't want to let something rest, and they just keep hammering away. Most of it, what I get anymore is, you're going to be sorry. You're going to lose your lawsuit. You're going to be destitute. You're going to be on the street. You're losing everything you've got. Your wife's going to be hurting. She won't have nothing. And what's she going to think of you for the things you did that caused her these problems? And, it goes on and on. And quite frankly, you get tired of hearing the same old rhetoric. It's like one talks after the other, saying the same thing, but it don't make a whole lot of sense. I don't know what else to talk about today. Like I say, I was going to talk about my First Amendment and my march forward to fighting for that right. But there was a few things on here that I thought was more important, and give you a break away from me hitting something 4 days in a row about my rights, which actually they're our rights. They're not just my rights. It's in the Constitution of the United States that we have this freedom of expression. And I had somebody come in my chat today, so he had been the foreman of a jury, and that they had found for the complainant, and it was millions of dollars. And he said he bet $1,000 that we were going to lose our case. And he was Veterans for Veterans or something like that. And I thought, man, here's a guy. That's okay. I mean, it takes all kinds. There's a huge amount of people that want everybody that got sued on this particular lawsuit to lose. I hope that we don't lose, because if we do, everybody is going to lose rights according to our Constitution that we have right now. And it would end up being some case law should all of us in here lose our way. The other thing is that, I've told you over and over that civil law sometimes just actually stinks. And the reason is you don't have the same rights with civil law that you do with criminal law. In criminal law, if you don't have the money for a lawyer will be provided. And I'm not saying you get great lawyers. You get some that are really under the pressure, that are overloaded, maybe too young, too old. There's some that are very good. But your chances of drawing a great lawyer and fighting, let's say you're going to fight against the state, and the state has all the money in the world and resources to fight you. If they're after you, chances are they're going to get you even in criminal court. But in civil, the person with the money and influence is going to win. That's a fact. And the heck of it is, when you go before a jury of your peers and you have somebody that is very good at convincing people that their way is the correct way and their way should be above the law if it really comes down to that. And all of a sudden you find yourself on the wrong end of the law. And since you don't have a right to a lawyer and you're poor, you're going to have to appear pro se. And that is a very foolish move. But sometimes it's the only thing you can do because you can't afford a lawyer. It's expensive. So the scales of justice depend completely on your finances. So how do you raise the money when you don't have it in your pocket? You don't. Now, you're not going to go to jail, but you're going to lose everything that you had, and maybe everything you'll ever earn. You'll never again accumulate anything. Now, in the case of an older person like myself, there's no such thing as starting over and rebuild a retirement or anything else, or buying a house. Or when you're on the street and you're my age, it's gone. It's over with. We live in a country that if you run out of money, you get to die. That's plain simple fact. When my dad was on his last 6 months of life, he had cancer, and they had some pills. The pills were around $2,000 a piece or something like that fight the cancer. And luckily, they put him on a program, and my father didn't have anything. He really didn't. And these things made him deathly sick. Now, he had a week's supply of them, and he called him up and he said, "Listen, I don't want to put up with this anymore." He said, "I'm just going to spend the rest of my time prepared for myself for the Lord." And he said, "I hope somebody else can have those pills because I know they're not affordable by the average person." When you're talking each week out there that you're going to go through maybe, let's say they're a couple thousand a piece, take them twice a day, $4,000 a day times 7 is 28. Ooh, $28,000 a week. You get up over $100,000 in a month. Your life expectancy in when you're under hospice is 6 months. That's a lot of money that goes out. And unless you're in a specialized program, and it's not going to happen. And I don't know how many people can prepare for that. But if you get on the wrong end of one of these civil suits, prepare yourself for the Lord, because that's who's going to have to catch you when it's all over. It's not a game of win or lose. It's life and death. And in these civil lawsuits, because of the fact that our great country felt that if you're going to get into one of these lawsuits, you can afford to hire a lawyer to defend yourself. And it's not true. In a lot of instances, you're better off dead than you are broke. Now, if you're on the wrong end of a lawsuit and you don't have anything anyway, you don't have anything to lose, but they still pursue you, then you wonder, where is that? Why? I can't tell you why. I don't know. Civil lawsuits are just that. People get mad at each other, and they get to a point where it's, goodbye, sucker. Quite frankly, and quite plainly, that's what it is. Well, I'm going to get back, hopefully, and going after my First Amendment rights. Hopefully I'll put one up tomorrow. Or I may give the weekend a rest and wait till Monday to pursue it. That way I can put more material together and see what things are brought on, today or tomorrow or whatever, is to see what else has been filed. I was a little surprised at the latest amendment that supposedly was only to add my name to it. And lo and behold, there was more than just my name changed on there. So I guess we'll have to look at it and see why. For all you subs out here that follow my channel, thank you so much for being here. And the one thing I am grateful for is that, for the most part, everybody that has followed my trip or my travel through this path of utter destruction from Mr. Hales, I really want to thank you. And you're brave, especially when I do the lives and the mods get in there and they're working so diligently to keep this on an even keel. I realize that sometimes it tests not only your bravery, but your conscience. I leave the mods alone and let them do their thing. And I would never embarrass them in front of the chat. If there's a problem, we'll settle it outside of the chat, and that'll be that. Most all of you know that I'm more easygoing than I am trying to be too aggressive. And you've treated the channel that way, and actually the channel has been very amicable. Boy, that was a word that's hard to get out, wasn't it? But to John and Michelle out there, I really thank you for the things that you're doing as well. I know it's tough for you because you have to be so careful on what you say and do. And Michelle did explain, about her child and the things that happened with CPS, or not. It's not called CPS. I think it's Family Protection, but Services. But when they came out, to take her child and do the pictures and things like that, it is very discouraging when adults interfere between a parent and their children. It happens. And unfortunately, John and Michelle have been what would be commonly called, they have been swatted 27 plus times over their child. I call it swatting. It was uncalled for authorities to come out and go after them. Now, in the last few days I've been talking about and showing you different things here of detective analysis or investigative analysis on these different charges against Michelle and John, and how the Sheriff's Department in Levy County, Florida, how they feel about those charges that were made. It makes you think and wonder, are all these professionals, are they wrong? Because, we're talking, just for Jeremy, he's got close to 750,000 people following, just alone on YouTube. That's not counting Facebook or TikTok or any of the rest of the stuff out there. Just one. And yet, they would say that the documentation either has been altered, is wrong. And most of us that have worked through and got this information, I keep part of it up there, and I've got some right over there. I've got my tablet here. I try to be careful and meticulous of where I find something or bring it to you out here. On the other hand, most of the time I try to tell you where you can get the real thing, the real documentation. And it's up to you if you want to spend your time to go look at it. You don't have to believe me. I always try to give it to you where it's at. So with that, I'm going to let you go today. And when you say your prayers for John and Michelle and Little Harley, they're the reason that a lot of us ended up looking at this thing so close, is because we don't believe in bully tactics. Things can be settled without doing it that way. Unfortunately, now it's ending up in court. And John and Michelle are extremely busy now with trying to prove their innocence. And at this point, or juncture, even though they're getting some help from a lawyer working in the background for them, until they fully have one that is standing out there and starts working on the documentation, they're hanging out there in limbo. So pray for them. Pray that those cases aren't going to be that way, that they're going to have the help that's necessary. Remember, these are civil cases they're involved in right now, and the poor person does not have a chance if you're not represented. You're going to make the trip down to the poorhouse. And even though you may already be in the poorhouse, you don't want to be buried underneath it. It's just, and I know that's a figure of speech, but it's reality in real terms. Well, that's all I got for today. I hope it's not too much of a downer. Right? Sometimes when I get, and I am a little tired today, I don't know why. I got plenty of sleep last night. I think probably some of it is I see so much rhetoric out there and it gets old. We do have some wonderful people out there that are really being attacked, and it's the wrong thing to do. I just don't know where it comes that people have to attack each other. It don't make sense to me. And there's a lot of good people that are doing it. It's not just hateful people. There's people that don't have a lot of hate in their heart are still fighting, and it's a hard pill to swallow. With that, I'm going to let you go, and like John says, ta-ta.